I was going to say, what is it?
Hello guys, how you doing?
Hi.
We've got Rick in the house, we've got Z, we've got that's also Rick. We've got Lambs.
How is everybody? Happy New Year to all. Good start, I hope. Second day in.
Yeah, I didn't want to do this yesterday. I wasn't feeling really good yesterday, so I thought I'd do it later in the year, sort of thing, on a bit. You know, I've been very tired the last few days. I had a bit of a flare up with my back as well, so not ideal. We've got JB, the bike collector, in.
He made it. Oh, well, I'm guessing he.
I think they're from Sheena's channel.
Oh, okay. Sharing the love. We like it.
Yeah.
Where's my high, Rick? Honestly, it's just about Jonathan.
Yeah. Yeah, Lambs is Lambs is what, I think an hour or so ahead of us, I think.
Oh, okay.
He's further that way in Europe. We're right on the edge of it.
I always get confused about time zones, don't I?
Yeah.
With all your clients.
Oh, it's Jeremy Black. I see. Hi, Jeremy. Right.
Oh.
That was quite obvious now I think about it.
Oh, yeah, JB. Yeah. And Andrea.
Andrew as well. Brilliant. Good to see you.
Snowy Wisconsin. Oh, I hate the snow. Too cold for me.
I couldn't get enough of it.
Too cold for me.
It snowed once here this year. It kind of settled for a bit, but then it went within a few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lamb. So I had a flare up with my back last night. So I went for a walk, did a bit of exercise in the gym the morning of yesterday, and it tired me out so much. It's like inflammatory pain. It's not like a joint pain, if that makes sense. It feels like my back is just sore down the middle. It's gone down to my knees and my glutes as well, which is it's actually quite typical for what I was having before, but the pain is slightly different, so it's not quite as bad.
Yeah. I think because it's all still processing what's happened, isn't it? So it'll get random flare-ups. It's not a linear kind of journey. So unfortunately, you could be doing nothing and it will still flare up. So just got to deal with it, haven't we?
Yeah.
You spent most of the day in bed, didn't you?
I spent all of the day in bed.
Me and the girls left you to it.
We watched a film today called
Knives Out.
I've seen it saw it with my brother about 2-3 years ago. It was very good.
I liked it.
Got Sophie on it.
Yeah. I think there's another one, isn't there?
Yeah, Knives Out 2. Something to do with an onion.
Oh, that one. We watched all the Rocky films, didn't we? In like less than a week.
Just a heads up, guys. When you're watching these like live streams of people, you can always tell if they edit or sort of smooth out their face or do different things. So when you look at their eyes will be darker than what they'll be naturally.
My
eyes are dark brown. Hers are bright blue.
Mine are bright blue. And as you can see, they're quite dark. Like if you see on any of my pictures, you can see how bright my eyes are. And I don't use filters on my pictures because I can't bother.
Yeah, so I'm not looking my best today, and Sophie's very tired.
Yes, very run down.
We got a question from Zbigniew. Have you tried raw meat? Any good? I've tried it, not in the sense of like having a steak. I've tried it as in having a few bits here and there, like a few pieces of beef mince. Not really a lot though. I found that it didn't seem to benefit or be a bad thing to my digestive system. I think people that have poor stomach acid, they might benefit more from having the rawer meats. If you're gonna have raw meats, just source it properly. Don't just buy it from a supermarket. You don't know how long it's been hung up for. You don't know how long it's been in plastic packaging for. You don't know if it's been collecting dust and all sorts of horrible, nasty things in your fridge. So keep it fresh if you're going to do any raw meat.
I mean, I have my steak rare, but I'm not too keen on it. I don't know. I don't like the thought of biting into a raw steak.
My brother's got a question. Hi, Carl, you all right?
Hi, Carl.
Which was your favourite Rocky? I'll let you go first.
It's so tough. I don't know, because there was bits of each that I loved. I just love the fact that all of them are so motivational. I don't know. Which one? I think, was it 4, the Drago one?
4's a Drago one, yeah. That's
that one. I quite like that one.
The original like Drago one with the blonde guy.
Yeah, I mean, I liked all of them, but if I had to pick one, I'll say 4. It's a tough one to choose.
I liked Rocky 1 because it had like the original backstory. I think I've spoken to Carl about this before, but basically it had all the characters in their like original state, and you got to learn the characters as they go on. I was saying to Sophie, like, oh, watching this character, you think they're like this now, but look further down the line, you'll see how it all comes together. And I like that sort of part of the storyline. It's they're very well made for like a cheesy American sort of movie, you know.
I quite liked it. I'm gutted that I hadn't seen it before. That's taken me 27 years to watch it.
Yeah. So lighting is critical video. Yeah, it is absolutely probably the most important thing. So I've recorded a few videos recently. If you saw the setup that I had to make to get any of my videos somewhat visually appealing, you'd be absolutely shocked. The amount of lights I've had to put on me. The green screen's down here. I didn't bother with it today.
No.
If you have the light in the wrong position, it casts a shadow behind you. That'll affect the green screen. Anyone that's making these proper videos, that is a pro sort of thing. Bar K, for example, they do invest a lot of time, money into creating those sort of videos. So don't take it for granted. I'm doing my best, sort of thing. For me, it's no go. Yeah, it's Big Nev. It's not great for him.
No,
he prefers it cooked.
Fair enough.
Rick said, "Did you see Joey's recent video about getting scurvy-like symptoms? He is now recommending more raw and not cooked meat." I've looked into this to an enormous amount of detail. If you look at the history of the human diet, we were eating mostly meat, so it gets that bit right. He is, however, slightly incorrect because we've been eating cooked meat for a longer period of time. As time's gone on, we've not just eaten like the meat from a large woolly mammoth sort of thing. We've been like almost harvesting like eggs. We've been milking cows. We've been adding all these other things which are somewhat in the grand scale of things quite new to our diet, but ultimately they have changed our epigenetics to such a state that many of us can require things from those foods. When it comes to raw versus cooked meats, you don't actually lose much vitamin C when you cook meat versus when it's raw. There's data on this. It's contrary to what a lot of people think, because the more you process something, generally the more vitamins you'll lose. But they found it was different for meat versus the standard studies on vegetables. For example, if you are to boil up some carrots, you'll lose vitamin C from the carrots and that'll titrate into the water. The same is not true, however, for vitamin C. The requirement of vitamin C by the body in a low insulin state, i.e. a low carb ketogenic diet, is much less than what people think. You don't need 50, 60, 70, 80 milligrams. You just need a few milligrams. Hi, Tracy, you all right?
So Jeremy, I bet my daughter who we kept doing that, didn't we? When we was watching the films, we kept saying, well, I mean, he obviously knew because he'd seen it, but he'd ask, who do I think? And I'd say, he's like, no, keep watching. So, I mean, it's good to do that during films. We were doing that when we watched Knives Out, weren't we? We were like, who did it? Do you think that it could be them? Which is quite good. Gets you thinking.
Yeah.
Hi, Sheena.
Hey, Sheena, right?
Thanks for sharing it.
Thanks for waking up at this fine hour of the day. Some of the people on this stream are, opposite ends of the earth from us, so
yeah,
it might be that they're watching this before work or in the middle of the day or
middle of the night.
They're in their lunch break or something. So I appreciate you coming on.
Lambs, are you both still on super high fat diets? If yes, does it affect your bowels? I've just dropped mine, haven't I? Slightly, only by like 25. But I mean, I've never had an issue with my bowels when I've been changing my macros.
I had issues initially in that I had to upregulate my bile acid production from my liver. My gallbladder was a bit backed up. When I say backed up, I don't mean it was damaged. It just means when you adapt from any diet, you have to transition. I was trying to do something like 180 fat to 300 fat in a matter of a week. I soon learned that was a bad idea. So I gradually titrated it up, and within a couple of weeks, I was completely fine. What I'm doing now is probably around about 250 protein, 200 fat. What I'm noticing is I do feel a bit more drained on the lower fat. And people watching this probably think 200 grams of fat. Bear in mind I am a heavy person. I needed a lot of food, so it is dose dependent in that regard.
Hi, Master Chiefs. Eating high fat, and I'm not even hungry. Good.
Master Chief Burgess, nice to see you.
Okay, what are your current macros, and where are you trending?
can't remember how to pronounce her surname, but Michelle's a client of mine.
Don't butcher it.
I know it, but I can't say it. What are your current macros and where are you trending, girls? Current macros: 250 protein, 200 fat, roughly. I'm probably going to be upping the fat soon. I'm not focused too much on body composition at the moment. I'm trying to heal from a spine surgery, so I'm trying to do my best efforts there and try not to damage myself along the way. So all my efforts are focused on recovering from that. The fact I can sit here upright for an hour quite happily is just evident the fact the diet does seem to work. So there we go.
What are mine at the minute? Is it? I think it's 180 protein and between 125, 150 fat, I think.
Yeah, we've leveraged her protein more than what I'd advise most people to do for her sort of build. But that's just to keep her satiated. It's not ready for any reason other than that.
I'm just trying to get healthier, get musclier, get muscular, get stronger by the end of the year is my goal, isn't it?
Yeah, Rick should have got scurvy decades ago. The grill in the pan for God knows how long now. 40 years he's been eating beef
and he's all right.
He's all right. The only thing that concerns me is my protein goals, so I may just do my protein and fat like I used to. Yeah, I recommend to most people to fulfill your protein requirement first. Protein, if you look at the etiology of protein, what it means the first thing you should do. They knew that back then. We know it now. You got to find out your protein amount to recover, provide you vitamins, minerals, amino acids, then use your fat intake as a up and down lever to sort of adjust how you feel and what physique health outcomes you have. I say this to everyone. It seems to sound true and everyone seems to know the same thing as me. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yamara Kadama. I can't pronounce that correctly, but hello, it's nice to see you.
Apology if it's pronounced incorrectly.
Yeah.
Trial and error for me. Yeah, to be fair, it is all about until you find your kind of happy balance. It is trial and error, isn't it? I think that's what I did. It took me a couple of months to figure out that higher the better for me, and we only really adjust the fat, don't we? We don't really adjust my protein.
Yeah, not really. My protein seems to fall between. I think I could do 180 for a bit. It wasn't that great. I don't know. Maybe I need more. Maybe I'm deficient. I don't know. I've scaled my protein up to 550 grams a day at one point, which is absurd. But it was an experiment, and I did see that I got into contest shape on a bodybuilding stage with it. So I succeeded with my goal. What more can I say?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much protein you have, Rick. I guess somewhere around the 300 grams of each range, based on what you've told me before.
December carbohydrates, so let's turn it. Why not?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I didn't do too bad this Christmas. I had a Christmas dinner, standard size, standard human being size, not my normal size.
No.
Then I think the other day at a family gathering, my brother, he's in the chat earlier, Carl. I had a couple of little finger sandwiches and a few like processed chicken popper. Cheers, Sean, for subscribing. I appreciate that. Your thoughts on autophagy? Is it a valid theory? You're right, Lamb. So I kind of answered this question a few times before. I'll obviously answer it now, but I will link you to other videos. So one of them is the video on fat fasting. The other one is a video which was the Christmas Q&A, I think. Basically, it was titled AMPK versus insulin, something mTOR, something like that. Essentially, when you're in a low carbohydrate state, your autophagy is higher. That's from having less insulin in your body. If you have an excessive amount of insulin, then you will be in a less autophagical state, whatever the word is. Is valid theory? Yes, but your body should regulate it and the amount that it does that to its individual's needs. So you wouldn't be looking to just do low protein, high fat all the time. It's not very sustainable. When I say low protein, I mean like 50 grams of protein, like some of the absurd amounts people are doing nowadays. Yeah, Sheena's 150 protein. That sounds about right.
Lately, it's been 150 and 250. Well, you've hit it then, Sheena. Well done.
Nothing wrong with that, yeah.
No.
Sheena likes to exercise as well, so there's that to bear in mind as well. Master Chief Burgess said, one of our old cats died on December 20th after a month of its health declining, resorted to cookies and other crap. Sorry to hear that. I nearly read that as the cat resorted to cookies. I was like, what? I was thinking of Potteridge's cat study there, where the health declined when they're only given like junk food versus raw meat, whatever it was.
I think there's always kind of things that are going to pop up, and some people resort to that stuff, and as long as you can get yourself back on track, like the next day, then it's not the end of the world. Don't dwell on eating badly for that day. It's kind of understandable.
What are your thoughts on red light therapy? I got ripped into this in a comment section with Simland. I don't know what his name, something like that. I think he's Swedish or something, or Scandinavian. He made a video about red light therapy, and he promotes these products like they all do. So I said, it's the holy grail, yada yada yada. I said, surely you can get the same thing just by getting some sunlight. Granted, if you live in an area with less sunlight, maybe you're not going to get any. But at the same time, what people do is their body, your genetics adapt over time, and when I say time, I mean like hundreds, if not thousands of years to the environment that they're in. In that my forefathers would thrive in an area with less sunlight because I'm from England. It's quite grey most of the year. So my genetics have allowed my ancestry to get to this point in spite of that. So obviously there's something going on there. If you've got the spare money and you think that you need more red light, then it could be useful. It's not something I'd sort of put all my faith in. There's some research which Jack Kruse has pointed out about red light and how it can benefit us humans. He wrote a book called Epipaleo RX. I think a lot of these things are a bit reductionist, as in you won't get every benefit you want out of doing one methodology to improve your health. It's going to often be multiple things at once. So the diet, the light exposure, the water you drink. When I say your diet, it means the proper diet as well. Your social setting, surrounding yourself with positive people, and having a good mindset, I think, as well, is very underrated. Lambs thought the same thing as me. Yeah, Lambs and I follow the same YouTuber, Harry Sopanos, so he's a excellent inspiration of mine that I follow very closely.
Good old Harry.
Good old Harry. King of Tasmania.
Lover of Tory.
Question 2 is Zbigniew. What are your thoughts on
high intensity training?
What are your thoughts about the high intensity training described in Body by Science by Doug McGuff and John Little? Everyone asked this question. I'm only laughing because I had this pop up today with someone. It seems like a lot of people want to make an assumption that there isn't a minimal effective dose for training. There probably is, but what I prefer people to do is to auto-regulate their training, and that means not to just say the outline of it is this, 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 and this. Zbigniew knows himself as one of my clients. He has freedom to auto-regulate his training as he needs. If his knees are sore, he will change that exercise. Now, people like those people, they have this idea that you have to do things a certain way, and that if you don't do anything like that, then you're not going to get optimal results. That's almost like shilling out to an idea to sell something. Anytime something sounds too good to be true, it probably isn't. For those that don't know, they sort of describe a training system that is very low volume but high intensity, which isn't a problem. Just some people like to push the boundaries of volume too low. And there is a benefit from doing 2 sets versus 1 set. If you're someone that has such limited time, of course, do 1 set.
Yeah.
There's a practicality sort of application to it as well. Symptoms that returned: weight plus 8.3 pounds, tinnitus returned, ear congestion, nasal congestion, lung congestion, asthma, allergy scores. Yeah, that's about right. I've actually used N-acetylcysteine, which has improved with my allergies and asthma. This was quite far in the past, but I did notice a profound difference. It's a precursor to glutathione, and that seems to help with my detoxification pathways. No worries, Michelle. I hope that was helpful. If you've got any more questions, just pop them in the chat.
Yeah, so easy to put on. Yes, I know. so much easier to put on the weight than it is to lose it, but it's so much more rewarding when you do lose it, I think. No pain, no gain, as they say. Because I don't have any help now. Lower back pain, shoulder pain in the arms and fingers. That's true, Sheena. Yeah, sometimes falling off the wagon does remind you why you eat the way you do and kind of, you know, the reasons for it.
Yeah, I was discussing this with my friend Claire actually recently. If you've not followed her channel, she's Beyond the Scale True Healing on YouTube. If you look through my channels, my past videos, she'll be there somewhere.
Fantastic, yeah.
She's very underrated in the carnivore community. She comes from a background of undereating, anorexia nervosa. She has good insights that, you know, I think she's not as well recognized as what she should be, because she does have really good insights. And maybe I'm just saying that because I think the same thing she does.
But definitely check out her channel. Give her a subscribe as well.
Yeah. I was commenting on her video saying, yeah, I wish I fell off the wagon more so at the start when I started the diet. Then I'd have really realized how much damage I can do by going off it.
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't have all these little speed bumps along the way. I've just done it in one go. Then thought, stand clear of food and want to eat.
I know now.
Grace has asked, so that's my sister-in-law. Hi, Grace. You're right. You're famous. Amongst my 16 people live. Grace has asked, what would you advise to a newbie and how to phase in a carnivore diet? Where to start? So I'd start by probably placing one meal for the first week with a carnivore diet. So the easiest one to do for most people is to mix, to take out, i.e. having cereal or toast in the morning. You might have scrambled eggs, maybe a bit of bacon or something.
Yeah.
If you don't like bacon, turkey bacon. If you don't like that, a slice of chicken. If you don't like that, just do eggs. Nothing wrong with that. Then as the weeks go on, might be that 2 weeks down the line, you think, okay, I'm going to replace my lunch now. Dinner's usually the hardest one to let go of, because that is the meal that most people look forward to during the day. It's usually when people get most cravings. So perhaps suggest do that last. And once a few weeks go by, you notice that you don't really crave the sugars and things anymore. Like most people say, oh, I miss crisps, I miss biscuits, I miss bread. I don't care about bread anymore. It doesn't interest me at all. When your brain's wired towards eating, you know, the carnivore diet food, you don't have this temptation to eat other foods, honestly.
No, my cravings for it have definitely kind of gone down. I mean, I still get moments where I think, oh, I could fancy that, but then it's quite quickly diverted, and then I just don't anymore. I don't have to kind of really talk myself out of it, which is quite good. Yeah.
So Tracy's asked, do you eat one protein meal per day, i.e. all beef or all fish or all chicken, or 2 meals, 2 types? I tend to go through phases. So I tend to do, the moment it's eggs, a bit of cheese. You might add a glass of milk with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And maybe might do beef burgers, beef sausages, a few more eggs. I'm doing a lot of eggs at the moment. Next meal might be the same with a bit of cheese and some eggs. Final meal, I like to do oily fish like mackerel or salmon.
Yeah.
But I will sometimes add a protein shake or some cheese. But it seems to be eggs in most meals anyway.
Yeah.
So I do rotate it to some degree every day throughout the day.
Yeah. Mix it up a bit.
Yeah, Sheena's got lupus, for anyone who doesn't know, so she can't change her diet that much compared to most people. So she's got to be a lot more careful in terms of what she does.
I hope that helped, Grace, by the way. Obviously, if not, then just kind of pop another question in.
Yeah. I'll have to charge her for a consultation.
Not mates rates either. You're affordable enough.
Master Chief Bird just made an interesting point. So he said basically that changing the diet linked to all his problems, his previous conditions. So I actually did the carnivore diet as partly as a method to sort of reduce my inflammation. What I found is I reduced my inflammation down to 0. It didn't make a slight difference to my pain at all. I made myself anemic. I lost a lot of weight. I was around 95 kilos. I run at the moment around 108, 110 kilos. I was emaciated. I was gaunt. My face was completely sucked in. I had veins all over my body. I was very lean. I was trying to be lighter, so my back wouldn't have as much weight to carry around. That didn't help me at all. So yeah, I mean, it can be a useful diagnostic tool to see if your pain is inflammatory based or bone based. Mine with my spine surgery. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm wearing a brace now. My brother got me. Yeah, mine was entirely based around my bones not being aligned correctly.
Yeah.
Year after that point, I then had the scan, confirmed exactly what I thought. I was like, brilliant. Now I know. And I did the right thing, and so didn't waste my time.
Although annoying that you put your body through all of that when
Yeah.
it didn't make a slight bit of difference.
Yeah.
But at least you're on the mend.
Yeah, Sheena likes cheese. Yeah, I do well with seafood as well. Quite like mussels and things.
See, I like prawns only if they're hot. I don't like cold prawns. I don't know why. I'm not as good with seafood as you are, am I?
No. I'll eat anything at this point to feel better. I don't care.
My missus got on the Carnivore train as of yesterday. Like so many of us, she's disgusted by fats. Do you guys have tips?
Yeah, so if you can get her on eggs, they're usually the easiest one to do. What I'd like to do is put maybe a few eggs in a bowl. You can actually add in melted butter with that, then scramble them.
Yeah.
You'll find the eggs will actually soak up a lot of the fat. If some people don't like butter, you might add in
like tallow.
Lard is quite good as well. Other than that, you can do. There's a video of that on my YouTube channel. It's called, I don't know, Carnivore.
I think it's literally
protein butter bites or Carnivore butter bites. That's an easy way of getting 30 grams of fat down in 10 seconds.
My daughter.
Rick, you love your fruit, don't you? So the thing about fruit is it depends where you're from. Your ability to tolerate a lot of these different foods varies depending on where you're living and how close it is that your ancestry is to where you live. The thing about fruit is there's a lot of deuterium in it, which people don't often account for. People can eat fruit and it's not very allergenic. Not many people have allergies to fruit. So you feel better when you eat it, but long term you become less insulin sensitive. You then run the risk of high insulin levels, which then means your mitochondria won't run as effectively. The high deuterium will do just the same thing. And you'll start to feel horrible. So you have a limited time span on how long you can do those sort of things. And, the guy's, like you said, he's 28 years old. So, wait till he's 50, you might be giving him different advice.
Yeah.
My thoughts align very much closely with Dr. Anthony Chaffee, Dr. Ken Berry, and Professor Barkay.
So Grace has asked, how do you eat it takeaways? Any advice and best options? So we quite like a kebab is quite easy because you just don't eat the pitta, or you can ask them to not put it on. And
when we say kebab, we get like the chicken doner meat or the lamb shish or the chicken shish.
Yeah, not
and go large.
Yes, and then it's all meat then. I mean, obviously, again, it comes with salad, but you can just ask for none, and the same with pizza. You can ask for none, or you can give it to Bruce. I'm sure Bruce would eat it.
Or you can get some places like these chicken places will do like a whole roast chicken.
Yeah.
The only places you won't have much success with is like a fish and chip shop because everything's battered and fried.
Yeah.
Other than that, McDonald's, I mean, I will do 2 triple cheeseburgers, no bun.
Yep.
Don't have an issue with that.
I mean, it's got a pickle in it. You could obviously take it out if you don't like it, but sometimes it's more faff than it's worth, isn't it? With them. So I think, kind of if you're out and about, and McDonald's is probably the easiest because you can do that bunness, whereas like a KFC, it's all kind of like fried chicken. Subway's obviously all breads, you can't really do that. We've got like a Korean place near me, haven't we? Yeah. Which is really good.
I don't know if they've got that where they
I'm
live.
Not sure. Or like a hot pot place. I don't think they've got that near them, but they're quite good.
The best bet's probably McDonald's for a triple cheeseburger or
kebab. Yeah.
And with the kebabs, well, if you like feta cheese, they'll often do an add-on. So you get your, I don't know, extra large chicken doner, get some feta cheese in it as an add-on.
Yeah.
But what I recommend to most people is don't undereat. So people often underestimate how bad their aversion is to fat. So they'll be eating this food and think, oh, I've got to slim down the fat, so the fat will be in the pan.
Yeah.
They'll leave it there when they're finished cooking, but you want to add the fat on. You have to include all the fat.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll start to feel drained, tired. You won't sleep very well. You'll be a bit backed up. So, you do have to approach it very sensibly.
Which is why kind of having those butter bites and stuff is it's a nice way, because I don't like to, if I'm cooking the meat in the pan, I don't I don't like the thought of pouring it in and then eating it. You obviously have no problem with it. I'd rather just put butter on my plate and eat it that way, or have a butter bite.
I'll add on as well, saturated fat from animals, particularly beef, has a lot of linoleic acid, stearic acid, some omega-3 as well, so that's quite helpful to a lot of people. Most people don't get enough of these things in their diet anyway. I mean, best case scenario, you'll get some stearic acid from French croissants if you get that sort of thing, but that's not ideal for you to eat anyway. Dairy Queen, that's like I think that's like a McDonald's sort of thing or something over there.
Or like is it kind of like a creams place, Dairy Queen, like a puddingy ice cream place?
I don't know.
I don't quite know.
I think they specialise in ice creams maybe, but then they do.
Or like a Burger King, kind of our version of that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
What I want to make clear to people that are watching this is that in England we don't have much choice in terms of the food that we eat out. We have meat, and that's like a 6-ounce tiny portion like that.
Yeah.
If you want to get more meat than that, you do have to pay double to get it again. You won't be able to like do an add-on for an extra 4 ounces. It's very expensive to eat out in this country.
Yeah. Oh, it's like McDonald's. Oh, thanks, Sheena.
Oh, right.
Glad you know.
Yeah.
What? I was asking Rick that. What did you do to get these local ducks setting in your yard? Do you have a pond? We were thinking about getting chickens, weren't we?
Yeah, I think it'd be a good shout because then you can feed them the food that you want to give them.
Yeah.
People do flaxseed sometimes. A lot of the chicken eggs that you eat aren't that great. I mean, in this country, you have to pay quite a bit more to get better quality eggs.
Yeah.
I notice a difference in the taste. If you put a fried egg in front of me, blindfolded me, I know the difference between the two eggs quite easily.
I don't, because I'm so used to just buying the cheap ones, because living on a budget. But yeah, he's obviously got a better taste palate and can tell the difference.
Michelle's got an excellent question there. I'll let you start this one.
I'm curious, do you guys stay pretty consistent with your macro splits, or do you find that you alternate higher fat days, lower protein, high protein, lower fat, depending on what you want? I mean, I'm pretty consistent. I don't seem to change it depending on what I'm doing, as in like training or not training. I think it depends. Maybe if we're eating out somewhere, it might be that, like when we had the kebab for like Christmas Eve, the protein's going to be higher because obviously I'm eating a lot of meat. I kind of just see how I feel, don't I? We kind of I base mine on, do I feel like I need a bit more fat or a bit less, or am I struggling with bowels? Do I need to alter it? But otherwise, I'm pretty consistent.
You get a taste for these different things. The other day I craved beef, so today I had some more beef. I don't eat a lot of meat for a carnivore bodybuilder.
No.
I do lots of eggs and things, but that's just me. But some days I do really crave it more. I'm like, I have to have like at least 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds sometimes. In terms of like higher fat or protein days, I mean, if we feel like digestion is a bit sluggish, we might put more fat in. If, for example, around Christmas time, we're going to eat some like non-food, then perhaps we'll do lower fat that day. If it's, if having 3 meals, the middle meal will be the Christmas meal. The first and last meal might be lower fat, just to reduce the chances of Randall cycle activation. I've got a video on that on my channel somewhere. It's probably the most simple way to understand Randall cycle video on the internet. Apart from maybe Bart K's. I need to look at his one again, but we say they're basically the same thing.
Even I understood it, and I'm not very good at all these long techie words, am I?
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, the Randall cycle is essentially a process which is both a good and a bad thing. It's almost protective, but it also has damaging effects. So the idea is we have a balance of sugar and fatty acids glucose and fatty acids that can go in our bloodstream at any one given time. When those stores become too high, the spillover then glycates. And that's what effectively does is tries to reduce that glycation so the damage doesn't happen downstream and cause more problems down the line. That's basically it. It's not as complicated as what people make it out to be.
No. And the fact that I understood it is saying something.
Nathan's here. I'm glad. I've actually booked this one in about half an hour earlier today, so we'd get Nathan on because I'm aware he's probably working today. I've heard Bart talk about pyramid set training. Is this something you've had experience with? I'd say everyone, at least in the UK, starts off training that way, at least to some degree. Maybe it might be 3 sets of 10 first. You might progress from, I don't know, 15 reps, 10 reps, and 8 reps or something. I don't like those sort of numbers. I like to finish on whatever number I finish on. I mean, I've always preferred to do a warm-up, then a heavy set. And after that set, I might do a still moderately heavy set, or moderate to heavy set, and I'll add an intensifier to it. And that's when I'm training at full capacity, trying to build muscle. A lot of people, though, they won't be able to recover from that. So I don't put that in many people's training programs, because the way they are is they're overstressed. They have a lot of activity. Myself, I'm very sedentary, so I can perhaps recover from that better than most people. The examples online, we see these studies of people training with pyramid sets aren't that great. I feel like I'm just regurgitating what I've said before in those videos, but yeah. What do you think towards pyramid set training?
I won't lie, I don't know what it is. I've not.
Just told you. So you get, for example,
is that kind of what I'm doing now?
You start on a low weight, then you up the weight.
Oh yeah, so what I'm starting on now, isn't it?
What you're starting on now, yeah.
I mean, so far I've done like a handful of training sessions like that, and it is helpful. And when I was going through the phase of I couldn't get my lifts for the deadlifts and stuff, so I then dropped the weight, and then helped me improve.
Yeah. If anyone's wondering why I'm sweating profusely, it's because the radiator is about here in front of me. I mean, it's on full beam and it's absolutely killing me. That's why I keep drinking water as well.
I've had to turn it on to warm the kids' room up.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what Sheena means. I mean, a lot of people say that I'm difficult to understand, you know? I mean, I do try and talk succinctly in the videos I make that are informative. It's very challenging though when you've got the synesthesia I have, where you see what you're saying. It is always a distraction.
Yeah.
That's why I often lose eye contact with people I'm talking to, but they think I'm not listening. But
yeah.
I get distracted by what they're saying.
I get it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I like the way Bart talks. I prefer people that talk on an even level, and they talk with a succinct sort of way. They go into detail about things, and they almost like ask a question, then they answer it in the same sentence.
Yeah, so far I've liked how Bart talks. I mean, there's obviously some parts that I don't understand, but that's when I look at you and go, what did you say?
Nomad Man says warm up and big lifts first. Yeah, I mean, I prefer a warm up first. I mean, it depends what body part you're doing. If you're doing like a push-pull leg split like I tend to do, you wouldn't often warm up the chest and the shoulders then triceps. You wouldn't do 3 warm-ups. It might be that your first exercise, which is a chest exercise, often involves the chest, the shoulders and triceps. So effectively you are warming up those 3 body parts in one movement. The big lifts, they are important. So if you can safely start up a set or a workout as high as possible, you're warmed up, you know, when I say safely, I am emphasizing safely. You're going to get more from it. Usually in the studies, they'll demonstrate that the first set is the most important. So if you can maximize that set, then everything else is a bit secondary. One approach I have, which is different to virtually everyone online, but no one ever seems to mention it, is that my sets, for example, so if I'm doing, say, 2 sets of 8 to 10, my first set, I might get 10 repetitions. My second set, given 1 or 2 minutes rest between, still warmed up, whatever, then it might be that I get 10 reps again. That signifies to me that I need to up the weight. If I'm always getting the same repetition range and I'm not getting weaker between my sets, it means the muscle activation has not occurred enough in the first set. So I want people to bear that in mind when I'm talking about intensity. I'm talking, you cannot do any more, and you're adding on as much as you can in a safe, effective manner.
Do you want me to turn the heating on?
Yeah. It's killing me. Ooh. Hey Nick, nice to see you. Yeah, Nick's in my Commonwealth Carnivore's private chat, so I'm glad to see he's found the link. Hope your cousin's well. What do I think about reverse dieting? I made a video about that recently. So recently, maybe like a month and a half, 2 months ago, I said reverse dieting is a con. Lane Norton was a proponent of it quite a few years ago, and I kind of thought it was nonsense back then, but now with the background I have now and the breeding that I've done, I can say it is nonsense. Your body will ultimately adapt the metabolic rate based on the amount of food that you feed it and the amount of mass that you have. That's very clear in studies, and it doesn't have to be a reverse diet of perhaps 12 to 16 weeks. It can be a reverse diet of somewhere like 4 to 6 weeks. Now, if someone's doing a bodybuilding competition and they're trying to reverse diet and they're saying, I need to do it for more than 6 weeks, I would be very skeptical about what they were doing to need that long to reverse diet. Why were they digging themselves such a big hole in their diet to need and warrant that? So that's where my approach comes in, which is aligning physique goals with positive health outcomes. If someone is going to be coaching with me, they're going to be doing it the safest possible way. As far as I know, all of my clients are drug-free. I do advocate a healthier approach.
We don't like suffering, do we?
No, I'm not a fan of them.
I put it there so you could have some, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Because yours has run out.
Master Chief Burgess, yeah. The way the Bart explains things is excellent, to be honest. Yeah, when you look at things biochemically, people won't. They just see what the guidelines say. Everyone knows guidelines are nonsense. I mean, how many times have we looked at the guidelines and everyone's got on well? How many times have people have heart attacks in the last 30 years? What's happened since the rise of processed food that started in Tesco's, I think, in the 1950s when they made the first ready meal? You know, it's gone completely downhill. People say it's because it's processed. Yeah, but the level before that is adding excessive amounts of plant foods. Then if you scale it back down from that, your diet is essentially meat and animal fat. That is the ultimate human diet. I say it in such a sort of epic way because that is the fact. That is very clear in science. Some people have a higher tolerability, so I always mention that bit as well. Some people can tolerate more plant foods. I can't tolerate much.
Yeah, we noticed that, didn't we, at Christmas time, that we had basically the same. And obviously you suffered a lot more than me.
Yeah.
I think, didn't I read that we're all born carnivores?
Oh, sorry, Sheena. I think I've put ads in this probably somewhere.
Thanks for watching them, though, Sheena.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, I'm now monetized, so any's counted for.
All greatly appreciated.
It is greatly appreciated. I get a cut of around 70% of that, I believe. If you don't want to be having YouTube as the middleman in that regard, then you can buy something from a website, consultations, £11 for 20 minutes, £17 for 40 minutes. I do training and diet plans as well. If you just want to give me some of that money, just for the sake of it, just say, here's money for this. The cut of that's like 0.5%, 1%, isn't that much. But yeah, just letting you guys know. Of course, no one is obliged to give me anything because I'm doing these for free, for the passion.
And I'm soon learning the tricks of the trade, aren't I, to help you to step in and be officially Miss Composition Consultant. I will be getting a T-shirt with Miss on it, on my ones.
She's gonna have her videos will have like a pink logo on it,
pink or purple or something.
Yeah.
Not that I'm thinking of doing any videos right now. I'm definitely not as confident as he is in front of the camera.
Yeah. Nick's not gonna have dusters. He's helped me a lot with my channel. Watching him sort of taking part, participating as best he can. Nick doesn't have a lot of free time, so I appreciate him being here.
Yeah, we'll let you off, Nick. It's all right. I am still waiting to hear that, by the way. I haven't forgotten.
Oh, it's Creaser. Hi, Creaser. Hope you're all right. Really glad you had Scott Stevenson on, by the way. I almost completely forgot how much I liked his Fortitude training system framework. We'll now be revisiting his book, sound and the most replicable in terms of the results they produce. One of them is what Jordan Peters promotes. That's very nearly identical to what I promote to most people. Scott Stevenson as well. His program was adapted from DC training, which was created by someone called Dante Trudell probably 20 odd years ago. Essentially, it focuses on progressive overload, auto-regulation, using some intensify methods such as maybe breast pause, I think they're called cluster sets, or Widowmakers. They seem to be quite useful to a lot of people. It just, what I say to people is make sure if you're going to add any intensifiers to your workout, make sure you can recover from it. If you're sore for a week, you're probably not that great from it. I mean, soreness isn't everything, but it does give an indication.
It's not worth it, is it?
Mallard or Muscovy duck? I don't know which one I've tried. Probably mallard. They're the ones we see in the lake.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah.
I have no idea. We don't actually have duck that much.
Ooh, Nick's got this question. Nick's on all about that natty life at the moment. What are your thoughts on testosterone or ecdysterone as natural boosters? Any experience of either, yay or nay? I think I've tried testosterone before. Didn't notice a difference at all. I think the idea is they block one pathway in the body and they mean that testosterone goes up. There's a lot of studies. Need proper benefit from these things. You're gonna have to take the real thing. I'm not advocating it to anyone, but I'm not the biggest fan of those sort of things. I think you can probably benefit more from maybe purchasing my coaching plans, my training plans, diet plans. You know, if you've got money to waste on 40 quid a month of testosterone, then you've got money to spend on other things. It doesn't have to be my stuff. It can be buying better quality food, you know, going down to the farmer's market, getting proper food, you know.
I have no idea about it, so hence why I left the answer to Jonathan.
Sheena said, excellent answer, Jonathan. I asked because I've been seeing this a lot. Yeah, it's basically a way that coaches try to get people on the bandwagon to get them to buy into their programs and ideas. Anything that sounds a bit like, well, you need to do this or you're going to hurt yourself big time. People are going to listen to that.
Yeah.
I think it's absolute nonsense. And I'll always tell people that. I'll never sway from that because that's what the science says. The science says it's nonsense.
Yeah. And you like to give the best advice, don't you? Factual.
Well, yeah, if a client came to me and said, right, I want to do a diet or I've just finished my competition prep, I need to reverse diet. I want you to coach me for 5 months out of the diet. I'm like, all right, here's your diet for the first 4 weeks. Next, 3 months worth is going to be quite a bit different. It's going to scale up quite quickly. You're quite surprised. Yeah, most ducks are domestic. He's right.
Oh, okay. That's probably what we've had then.
Yeah.
Plants make me if I stay awake well.
Yeah, please don't forget to click like. Appreciate that. I'm trying to pin that message, but I don't think it's letting me.
Is that because we're on the live, maybe?
Maybe.
Oh, here we go. No, it's just delayed.
Our system's a bit slow, so I apologise for everyone that's struggling to watch this.
I mean, do not. Yeah. I don't know what's happening.
It's the best laptop I could afford.
We'll get there. You just pin. And that's what it's going.
Yeah, for anyone that without actually spending any money.
Mm-hmm.
If you send it to a family member and they send it on once more,
yeah,
that's
a composition consultant in every conversation that you have with everybody.
Even if it's not my channel, just the word about the whole idea itself is useful. Thanks. Yeah, I'm one of many. I've probably got one of the smallest carnivore YouTube channels in my country. So, have you heard of Dr. Chaffee's experience with coffee and how it affected his workouts? He says that he felt sore for days after a single cup of black coffee. All I could think is that would affect his gut motility, in that it almost damage his gut wall. There's not a lot of oxalates in black coffee, surprisingly. So it probably isn't that. What I can think is that maybe it dehydrates him. I mean, I know that he's drinking or was drinking a ton of water. Something like, don't quote me, something like 9-10 litres a day. I don't know if he's still doing that. Bear in mind, I'm quite a lot larger. I'm about 1 stone to 2 stone larger than Dr. Chaffee for my height. So I drink 2 to 2.5 litres. I'm about 1 stone to 2 stone larger than Dr. Chaffee for my height. So I drink 2 to 2.5 litres per day. He drinks about 9. If it works for him, good for him. But that's not me. You know, I don't do that.
No. I don't actually track how much water I drink anymore. I used to make sure.
I think she drinks about 1.5 litres, I guess.
I used to make sure I hit like the 2 to 3 litres or whatever it was, but now I just kind of drink to thirst.
Yeah, there's, like Sheena said, they're not carnivore, but I hope they transition by watching my example. Yeah, I mean, you start off just getting rid of the starches or the processed food, then you get rid of the sugar, the I don't know, the things you're not meant to eat. So then you go keto, then you go carnivore. Carnivore's kind of like the last resort diet. It's not until many people, especially my generation, not until they get much older, they'll realise they have to do this diet, or they will suffer tremendously. Evidence of this is the epidemiological studies which show cause and effect that the diet has absolutely trashed everyone. I say everyone, I mean a lot of people.
But like slowly transition to it. We don't recommend kind of jumping straight from standard diet to carnivore diet, do we? I think we say what's like a 6 week or something kind of transition.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sheena. What are your goals this year, Jonathan and Sophie? Well, my goals are to get to my goal body, which is really just until I look in the mirror and I'm absolutely happy with how I look, because at the minute I'm not, just to be kind of healthier and stronger, really. Yeah, I don't really have like a weight in mind, do I? I have like an idea of how I'd like to look, but as long as I look in the mirror and I'm happy, I'm kind of not going to stress too much if it's not exactly what it looks like in the picture that I sent. But yeah, Jonathan, what's yours? Recover, really, isn't it?
Probably the first thing in my mind is obviously recovering. So I had spine surgery, I don't know, 3 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago, something like that. 12th of December.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago. What else am I thinking about? I'm thinking about enjoying workouts again. Doesn't necessarily mean I have to lift big weights, but it means I have to go to the gym and get a sticker pump. Then we'll say that because it sounds a bit weird on a YouTube channel. But like when you're in the gym and you have that isolated, concentrated feeling of enjoyment and satisfaction, you know, nothing much beats that. Outside of that, in terms of like my competitive goals, I'm not quite sure, but I want to find something that I can do that will beat my demons. I've got a lot of demons, haven't I, Sophie?
Yes.
So I'm hoping I can find something that kind of not rejuvenates myself, but makes me feel like I've overcome a hurdle. So I have to achieve something
safely.
Otherwise,
I won't be allowing it, will I?
Yeah, it'll be quite a fun trip anyway, whatever I do.
Yeah, I think we're quite enjoying working out together, aren't we? We've even got, I say the kids, one of them isn't old enough to do anything. She's
got 2 little weights.
She's got her 2 little dumbbells. And then our 5-year-old quite enjoys working out with us, didn't she? Because we all go to my private gym. Our goal is to get our own home gym, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the back garden.
Yeah, does anyone have any more questions? We're happy to answer anything. If you can't afford a consultation with myself, then just answer a question here and I'll try and, especially if I know you quite well, I can obviously answer it quite well.
Thank you very much, Sheena.
Yeah, thank you, Sheena. I don't know if I said that, but thank you,
I
Sheena.
can't remember
Appreciate
if
that.
I did. I think I did, but an extra thanks doesn't hurt, does it?
Yeah.
My son's cat's a guest, kibble fed. They're on holidays. I always make sure I have lots. He loves it.
Yeah, what is everyone else's goals in the YouTube live chat? What are you looking to achieve this year? I'd say like down the line, I'm looking to do something competitively again. I've got to think very carefully about it. Because if I'm going to dedicate my time towards something, and anyone that knows me well will know that I give it my all. There's a lot of energy and mental application to apply to something for it to not have the outcome you want. So it's going to be something where it can't be perhaps rigged or I can't be cheated on.
Yeah.
So whatever work I put in will show. That's what I hope for.
I'm debating competing, aren't I? And I haven't quite decided whether that's something I want to go into or not.
Yeah, it's a long haul approach, isn't it?
Oh yeah. It definitely won't be a this year thing. I've got a lot of work to do, but I'd like to think by the end of this year, maybe I'll know what I want to do, whether I want to or not, and then if I want to, go towards it.
Yeah. Jeremy said the only goal I have is to get light enough for my knees to never hurt again. Yeah, and I get that. My brother's suffered from tremendous knee injuries, knee pain.
Yeah.
I can tell he's in pain a lot of the time. And yeah, I mean, his isn't weight related, his is injury related.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine how much difference it'd make to lose a bit of weight to get close to your goals of having no pain.
And the walking that you're doing, Jeremy, is great. You're starting somewhere, which is fantastic. Just moving is a start, isn't it?
Andrea is wanting to be a swole grandma. Won't be long.
No.
Not long. She has pretty sick abs as well at the moment.
She does. I'm quite jealous of how good she looks.
Sheena's is to maintain her way of eating and getting word out of this way of eating. It can save your life like it did mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a lot of people it can save their life. It's not until you have really bad health that you realize how useful it is. It always comes down to this thing. People that are going to be shy of this are going to be people that perhaps are unable to give up the sugar addiction, or perhaps they don't see it as healthy. The part of it is just explaining to them why it is healthy and why they can do it. So it's enabling them. So we don't, we will never shut people down for not following this diet. But
no,
if they're going to tell me that their diet is better than mine, I'll completely decline that.
You won't hold back, will
No.
you? Installed a pull-up bar. I got it set. That's mine as well, Lance.
Yeah, if you can get the pull-up bar above you, just use a step. Maybe just do the bottom quarter first. Next day, do maybe a third. You get up to. I mean, I don't know your build sort of thing. So it might be that takes you a bit longer, but if you're relatively strong, you're a strong male, so you might be able to do it. And Master Chief Burgess, my goal is to get back on the carnivore train and reverse all of my symptoms of the carb holiday.
Fantastic. Well, at least you know what to do.
Yeah, I've got a question for you, Chief Burgess. How long do you find it takes you to get back to normal from an off meal, an off day of dieting?
It's interesting to see other people's, isn't it? Or to hear other people, should I say?
I think mine's about 3 days. Depends how bad it is.
I think for me, stop hurting when I went carnivore because it removes inflation. Fantastic. Jeremy did another 7 miles. Good. Oh, I saw the pictures of the foggy scenes. To be fair, if I had those kind of scenes, I'd be want to walk all the time.
Yeah. I walked down to the kitchen today and went upstairs and went.
Right, isn't it?
Yeah.
The scenery here isn't the best. So it doesn't really make you want to go and walk in it when you just see cars and lampposts everywhere, to be honest.
Muscle mass was dropping some fat. Michelle is someone that takes her goals very seriously. I've seen her data. She does.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
A few days to a week, depending on what the toxins was. I
see. So there some things people suffer with more. Myself, it seems to be the sugar. For other people, it's flour. Flour doesn't really. Sugar seems to be the worst one.
We had to avoid that, didn't you? Anyway.
Up to a week for or you're very big and you can have it.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Right, we're going to shut this down in about.
Thank you so much, Nathan.
Appreciate that. What's your favorite exercise for calves? Is pretty much always ideally you do that off a step, flexing the tibialis anterior, so your shin muscle. So effectively the shin up here is becoming shortened. And when you do that, it allows the soleus and gastrocnemius to fully stretch. You can vary between a fully straight leg or a slightly bent knee. I prefer a slightly bent knee because it seems to work both parts of the muscle effectively for myself. In terms of reps and sets, you're looking at anything which is just difficult. I mean, the program that I quite like to do at the moment, especially as calves for me, is very time efficient because you could just do it off the step anywhere.
Yeah.
If it's too easy with one leg, you just add a weight, add a disc, add a shopping bag, something, a rucksack maybe.
Yeah.
Then all you'll do is just work on one leg. So you go to failure at 18 reps, right leg, 18 reps. Then you go straight to the left leg again. You just keep going back and forth until you can no longer get sort of rep range that you're sort of aiming for. For a lot of people, it might be that you're having to add weight, so bear that in mind as well. Yeah, cheers, Jeremy. Thanks for stopping by.
He keeps breaking up again.
Yeah, Nathan, if any of that was patchy for you to hear, just send me a message and I'll voice note that to you.
Happy Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Very exciting.
Any other final questions before we?
Cheers, Michelle. Yeah, we'll try and do.
Yeah, this
So it'll be 7 p.m.
time.
UK time. If you'd want to do it at a different time, it might have to be when I'm back at mine. That could be any time of day, really. But I mean, usually the sort of 7 a.m. or 7 p.m., depending on where in the world you are, works quite well for most people.
Yeah.
All right. If you've got any questions for next little segment, again at some point on live questions.
And then she couldn't wait for them to be ready. She was asking the whole morning, when are they going to be ready? Can I have them with lunch? And she absolutely loved it.
Guys, I hope you're all well. Anyone, you've had a good time. I'll speak to you guys soon.
Thank you very
much.
We'll
book this in again probably around about a week from now. It'll either be just me or me and Sophie at some point. So stay tuned.
Thanks. Take care.
Thank you.
Come on.